Hey guys, Dad here again. Hope you don't mind the shades and the ball cap. It's super sunny and it's just about sunset time here, so I don't want to make a little video here. I talked about the last one about what is love, and I said that there's two key parts: there's truth and kindness. It's going to be important to actually talk about what those two mean, because there's a lot of bizarre ideas going on for both of those. I'll get to kindness in another video, but I want to talk a little bit about truth today. So what is truth? At a very simple level, truth is basically any ideas or beliefs or statements or whatever that actually line up with reality. So to call me a midget would be not true, because I'm 6 feet 5 inches tall, right? Our whole family is pretty tall. So to make the claim that we are midgets would be untrue, because it does not line up with reality. To say that there are 4 people in our family is true, because it does in fact line up with reality. Now, some people get ideas around, well, I have my truth, you have your truth, and this is where things get messed up real fast. That frankly doesn't work at all, for the simple reason, I mean, can someone say, well, for you there's 4 people in our family, but for me there's 5 or 3, right? Like it just at a basic level, it doesn't make sense. But the thing that I find more interesting about it is not just that it doesn't make sense, but how do I say this here? It ends up being self-refuting, I guess is the way to put it. So what happens is, what happens? Everybody wants to have their own truth. I have my truth, you have your truth. There's no such thing as one truth for everyone. But then what happens is you get people saying, well, because everyone has their own truth, who are you to tell me how to live my life, right? Basically, buzz off, keep out, keep to yourself. And we're not allowed to, interfere with other people's lives and whatnot. But that's where the problem is, because as soon as you say, because there's no truth, there's nothing that's true for everyone, it is now true for everyone that we got to leave each other alone. Well, hold on a second here. If nothing's true for everyone, then even the idea that I got to leave other people alone and I can't impose my views on them or whatever, well, that's now something that you want to be true for everyone. So even the people who want for there not to be stuff that's true for everyone end up telling everyone else how to live their lives, ironically. And it gets really interesting if you think about it. If you got a group of people who all believe that, yes, there's an external reality that we have to live within. We don't get to control it, we don't get to change it, it just is what it is, and we all have to live within it. When everyone believes that, something very interesting happens. Sorry about that, I'm just on a path here in Nose Hill, and I want to that's why I got it, so I can see behind me there, in case anyone wants to pass me by. So an interesting thing happens when everyone believes that there is an external, or a group of people believe there's an external reality. When people disagree, the approach they take is persuasion, right? Think about this, right? When everyone believes, yes, there's an external reality and we need to discover what it is, then if I think you're wrong about something, I will try to persuade you, to show you that, well, actually your beliefs are not in alignment with reality. Rather, it's this other set of beliefs. Oh, here's someone else. I'll wait till they're gone. I think next time I'm going to have to not be on a path here, I guess. Anyway, when people agree that there's an external reality, then they use persuasion to try to change other people's minds. And essentially it's logic, reason, to explain that your concept of reality is not consistent with reality, and so I need to help you to understand where it's off, right? So they'll use persuasion. Interestingly, you'll see what happens when people believe there is no external reality and we all have our own truth, as they like to call it. Well, now you can't use persuasion, because now it's just a matter of, well, you have your truth, I have mine, and there's no, like reason doesn't make sense anymore. Logic does not make sense anymore. You don't use those anymore. Instead of persuasion, they use power. So it ends up becoming a power struggle. These people end up, when you think that way, it ends up turning you into the kind of person who is power hungry, a bit of a control freak. They can be very manipulative. Frankly, they'll use bullying, because it's not about trying to show logic and reason and evidence anymore, because that all assumes there's an external reality that's the same for all of us. Whereas as soon as you deny that, as soon as you have no use for that idea, then all that's left is, I have my truth, you have your truth, and we're in a fight. just inherently we're in a fight, right? Because how can you can't persuade anyone at that point. So that's sort of the two basic choices you have with respect to how you're going to think about truth. The right way, the way that says that the truth is a reflection of reality, an accurate reflection of reality. And the problem with that, though, is I don't get to define it, right? It is what it is. It's not my choice. I didn't have a say. It's just that we're born into this reality, and we got to learn to live with it, right? And most people live with it quite well, actually, because God designed it so that we would live in it quite well. But there's the fundamental question then, right, is getting to the question of God. Who is God? Who's God? Because if there's an external reality that's the same for everyone, and there are truths that are the same for everyone, then God is God. He's the guy in charge. He made it all, and we got to learn to live with it. We got to figure out how best to navigate this world. On the other hand, if it's my truth, you have your truth, we make ourselves God. We want to be the ones defining reality. And so that's the question that I want to leave with you as you're growing up, as you're going through this stage here, is to what extent are you just going to say, you know what, God, you're God. Not me, you're God, you're in charge. And to what extent, there's a temptation in all of us. I have it, everyone has it, the temptation to try to be God. So just be very, very careful with that. And hopefully this gives you a bit of an insight into what truth actually is.